Welcome to the Kim B. Davis Show. Here we'll talk to the leaders in technology, culture, business, and the arts. We'll cover politics, advocacy, motherhood, writing, mental health, and mostly we'll focus on hope. Join Kim B. Davis, author, playwright, radio personality, event consultant, professional speaker on the Kim B. Davis Show.
Good evening and welcome to the Kim B. Davis Show. I'm your host, Kim B. Davis, and this evening it is my pleasure to present to you Ms. Davena Vance. She is the owner and operator of Papertrail Income Tax Services. And then we also have Myesha Johnson, who is a tax preparer with Papertrail Income Tax Services. And this evening we're going to be talking about resetting our finances. Good evening, ladies. How are you?
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you guys for being on the Kim B. Davis Show. So let's get right to it. We're talking about resetting our finances. It is February, it's Black History Month. It also is income tax time. W-2s are going out, stimulus checks are still coming out. Some people are still trying to get refunds from what I understand from 2020. The IRS has a lot on their plate. So I want to start this question off to you, Davena, as the owner and operator. So it's income tax season. People are getting their W-2s. What are some things that people should be looking to do in terms of getting their W-2s ready to have their taxes prepared and thinking about the best ways to maximize their investment?
Well, I would say, because it's February, it's the beginning of the year. So I would look at the W-2 that you just received and go ahead and change the exemptions if you have to. If you need to take out a little extra, what I always do, I take out an extra 10 or 20 a week so that it'll add up towards the end of the year. So I have more of a cushion when my income taxes come. So that's what I would suggest.
And so if someone is single, and or maybe you have two people who are living together and they're not necessarily sure if they want to file jointly. Should they file jointly? Should they file single? What are some of the things that you would tell them? What are the pros and cons, so to speak?
I would say absolutely. It can't be two head of households in one house. So I will weigh who's paying more of the bills and see who it benefits more, because you can't be head of household without dependents. A lot of people think, well, I pay all the bills, I'll be a head of household. But if you don't have a dependent, you're just single anyway. So head of household, it's a little higher exemption, but you have to have dependents. And also, even if you're not claiming a child, I have some people who alternate years, but I would just the other parent can still use one of the dependents as head of household, but not necessarily claim the child. So that's something else I would suggest, as well as there's also a difference between married filing joint and married filing separate. I think we went out again. Hello?
I can still see you.
Okay.
I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah, and married filing joint and married filing separate, I always have issues with that as well. Married filing joint, you can still get credits like the earned income credit, but married filing separate, there are no credits.
And what are the credits that you would get?
Earned income credit, child tax credit, things like that. Even education credits, you're not eligible for any of those with married filing separate filing status.
Okay, so there is a benefit to married filing jointly, is what you're saying.
Right, but if you absolutely have to file separate, you got some people that just want to file free and clear away from their spouse. You can file married filing separate, and there's also married filing joint with an injured spouse. That takes a little longer, but that's also an option I like to throw out there too.
Okay, so here's something, and I just thought of it. If someone owes money to the IRS and you're married, should you file jointly depending on if you don't want to pay for that? Because what part of your refund go for that?
Absolutely not. You should definitely file separate from your spouse if you owe money, and you should not use the same address also.
Thank you, Myesha. Go
And
ahead,
that's
Davina.
where that married filing joint with the injured spouse, that also comes into play with that. Cause they'll separate it half and half, and you'll get your exemption. And especially if you have children, you'll get what you would get for the children, and the half for the other spouse will just go towards the debt. But it
Okay.
takes about
Okay.
14 weeks usually. So.
Okay, because it's complicated. I get it. So, Myesha Johnson, I wanted to talk with you because you're a tax preparer. So, I know that you make people feel comfortable when it's time to file taxes. What are some things that you do to help people understand the importance of filing taxes and why you are the best person to handle their taxes?
I think at Papertrail, one of the things that we do that make us stand out apart from everybody else is that we educate our customers. We let them know that we let them know all the information up front. We let them know what to expect with their return, and we also play around with their return and try to get them the maximum return that we can.
Excellent. So, I want to ask you a question. So, if someone comes to you and they say, you know what, it's been 5 years since I filed taxes and everybody around me has been getting a big refund check and I'm sort of struggling and I feel stupid because I didn't file my taxes, what do you tell them?
Well, I let them know up front that, you don't necessarily not file your taxes, because when you don't file your taxes, that just create a debt that you're going to have to pay because it is the IRS. But I also let them know just because you don't file doesn't mean that it's a bad thing either, because you can skip a year a lot of times, and a lot of times it won't be nothing but a penalty that you'll have to pay, and they'll take it out of your return, so you can pay the penalty right out of your tax return if you have something coming back.
Okay. Is there, because I thought that someone said, and I'm not sure, isn't there an expiration date? So if I haven't filed in 5 years and I go back and I file with you for all 5 years and it's 2021, is there an expiration on when I can get a refund? Is there so many years? Like, is it 3 years? Is it 2 years?
Yeah, it's 3 years where you could get a refund. So right now we're filing the 2020 taxes. So you're eligible for a refund for 2020, 2019, and 2018. If you get a refund in 2017, that's just like purely informational. You won't be able to receive money for that.
Okay. Okay. And then for people that do owe, because Myesha, you said for people that do owe money, you should file separately. However, what if it's someone you accumulated while you're married, you owe a lot of money, you hear of a company that says, well, we can, are those reputable organizations? Myesha, can you take that question?
I'm sorry, say that again. I couldn't catch that.
I'm sorry. For people that have a lot of debt, say they've accumulated it together as a family or a couple, are there companies that say that they promise to take care of that for pennies on the dollar? Are those reputable companies?
Well, when you think about it, you have to think about what's the law and what's actually can be done and cannot be done. So when you hear those commercials and things saying that they can do things, I like to educate the customer and let them know that those are usually gimmicks and that those are things that they cannot actually do. So do not fall for those gimmicks and do not pay people. And if someone's asking you for money up front or asking you saying they can get you money for money, you already know that that is probably a gimmick.
Okay. So when I hear commercials that say, come file your taxes with us, I can get you $5,000, $10,000, that's a gimmick?
That definitely is a gimmick, because no one can get you back in a dollar amount without even putting your information in, because we have to put your information in and do the figures. So if someone's promising you $5,000 without even putting the figures in, yes, that definitely is not true.
Okay. Very good. All right. So stimulus checks. We've got a lot of stimulus checks that have been sent out to people. People got stimulus checks in December. Some got them in January. We have another round of stimulus checks. We had stimulus checks that came out earlier in 2020. Davina, what are some things that people should do with the stimulus check? We understand that some people literally are living paycheck to paycheck, but for those that are working and can have the opportunity to put some of that money away, is that a wise decision? Should they pay down debt? What should they do with that?
I would definitely say pay down debt. And, especially with this COVID happening last year, you see pretty much anything can happen. So I would definitely try to put as much away as you can, as much as you can afford. Pay down your debt so you have less money coming out in bills if you can. That's what I would say.
Okay. Myesha, did you have anything to add to that?
Yes, I definitely would agree that I would, you should probably put away some, pay off some debts if you can afford to. But I feel like the stimulus is just what it is. It's a stimulus. So you should be able to also do whatever you want with it. But if it's, replicable that you can save, then you should.
Okay. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Are stimulus checks, are they taxed? Is that something that goes on your tax return?
Well, they have it available because some people were not able to get it last year. Like some people were claimed as a dependent last year, and they're trying to get it again this year. So if you were a dependent last year and you're trying to file this year, you can get your economic impact payments for the first one and the second one. You can but I also think that's why they're extending the date until February 12th to when they're starting to send returns, because a lot of people are getting scared. I still have a lot of customers that have not received their payments, but the IRS is sending them out daily. So I just wouldn't panic and just wait until, don't send in half information, because I did also get information that if you are claiming on your taxes, it will be a small delay. So just wait if you can.
So pack your patience, definitely, because
Yes.
the IRS has a lot going on.
Yes.
All right. So with refunds, with if you end up owing something to the government, stimulus checks, a lot of people are also struggling with credit. And we know that credit is very important. And you have, what is it, credit education classes? What do you do?
So basically what I do is credit counseling. So what I do is I have a consultation with the customer about 45 minutes. I let them know what I can and cannot do right up front. So I want to know their situation. I want to know what they have on their credit or what they think they have on their credit. I let them know the process, what I'm going to do to start the process, how long it would take, and what can be done and what may not be able to be done.
And so again, let me ask you a question. So because we see these commercials that say we can increase your credit and bring it up by so many points, all you have to do is call 1-800, fix your credit or what have you. And Davina is smiling. Davina, did you want to talk about that a little bit?
I mean, this is really only so much that you can do in a short amount of time. Like we keep saying, pack your patience, because you didn't mess your credit up overnight, so it's not going to be fixed overnight. So I would just, it takes a little bit at a time, but it can be done. You can. I've seen 580s go to 700s, but it's not going to be overnight. Absolutely.
Definitely. And you definitely will have to pay off some things, and you will have to probably pull your credit, and you'll have to go through and know sometimes there's errors on people's credits. So that's what we look for. We look for errors first, because the errors you can remove right away. But then you also have to look at, do you actually owe this bill? Because if you do owe the bill, then you have to make a payment plan.
Okay. And do you work with credit consolidation companies? Do you recommend bankruptcy? What are some things that you recommend to people? Myesha.
Well, I recommend bankruptcy only under certain circumstances. So I have to actually do a consultation with the customer to actually get a feel for what their certain issue is. So that's why I do the consultation. That way I can figure out like what would be the best way for them to go.
Okay. So tell me 3 things that can help raise your credit that everyone should do, like 3 basic things. Myesha.
Well, for one, removing errors. So you remove errors. So you have to scan for errors, pull your credit report constantly. Credit Karma is the best place to go because you can just pull a free credit report. A lot of people don't have time to scan their credit, and that's one of the things that we do. So that's one way to increase your credit. Another way is to make sure you're paying things on time, in a timely manner. A lot of people have errors on their credit, don't even know. I put up my credit a couple months ago and found like 2 things on there that was like false. And I just, all you have to do is write the company and let them know, and they removed it.
Very good. Davena, tell me all the services that Papertrail income tax services does.
I do tax preparation, also bookkeeping for small businesses. I started that last year. We starting the credit repair this year. Basically anything that has to do with your finances, I'll work with you because it all ties in together pretty much.
Mhm. If someone was interested in becoming a tax preparer, do you do tax um, classes, education on that?
Yes, I do tax classes as well. Usually I offer those in the summer, about July, so that when the
Mhm.
tax season comes, you know, well trained. But I also do more rapid classes in about October, November.
Okay. Okay. So, ladies, we're fast approaching the end of our show, but I wanted to ask you for a tip. What is something that families can do to strengthen their financial bottom line starting today? Davina.
Like I said before, if you can afford to take a little bit out of each check and have it automatically go towards your withholdings, I would do that so you don't have any real surprises when tax season comes. And
Mhm.
just save as much as you can. Just try to put away just a little bit. It just takes a little bit, and then you'll be surprised how much you have by the end of the year.
Myesha?
I say create a monthly budget, create a budget for yourself, how much you spend on lunch, and maybe cut back on lunch, and maybe put a little bit up here and there, and pay attention to your credit and scan your credit as much as possible.
Ladies, thank you so much for giving us some good information on how we can reset our finances. Myesha, I'm going to start with you. Tell us how we can reach you, how we can find you at Papertrail.
You can reach us at www.papertrailincometexas.com, or you can give us a call at 313-333-3824, and you will be connected to one of our tax preparers or credit consultant.
Davina?
Yes, that's my direct line. I always answer or hit you with a text. So call me anytime, 333-3824, area code 313. And my email address, davena.vance@gmail.com is a good one too.
Thank you, ladies, for talking to us about resetting our finances. You gave us some good information on getting prepared for tax season, getting our credit together, and even how we should look at our finances in terms of investment and putting some things away. So, thank you again for that. I appreciate you guys coming on the Kim B. Davis Show.
Thank you for having
Thank
us.
you. Have a good night.
Thank you guys for watching the Kim B. Davis Show. I hope that you'll tune in to our next episode. And as always, remember, be magnificent.